What Super Bowl team is starting Jerry Jacobs? What Super Bowl team is depending on John Kaminsky for 60 reps? What Super Bowl team? Here's our answer at D tackle, Benito Jones. Rico's cousin Benito might be a better selection. Guys, you want to rip him, rip him. I agree. I'd like to see him be better, but look, the point I'm making is in season here and now, this is where we are. You're down James Houston. You're down Aleem McNeil. You're down C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You're down Mosley. Those are 4 legitimate starters. I don't know what defense would be good. That's why I said to you prior, you're an offensive team.
Yeah. Plus, your defense gets put in very bad spots.
So if you want to give Aaron Glenn the smoke, then talk about Ben Johnson. Okay?
Yeah.
No one says a word when we call him a genius. But if you bring up he's been one of the worst red zone play callers in the NFL this year, you get a dial tone.
Because if all of a sudden the Lions defenses were just letting teams drive 80 and 70 yards on them, then yeah, you know what? It is Glenn. But a lot of the stuff is turnovers. They got the short field. They got to defend. And simply getting the other opponent to kick a field goal is a win because you kept them out of the end zone.
Yeah, 267 yards of offense yesterday. Why are we talking about Aaron Glenn?
100% panic in Lionstown. Mike promised me the division would be wrapped up with 3 weeks to go. Rico guaranteed me an MSU basketball natty. Everything is in shambles on this Monday afternoon.
Oh, don't worry. Tomorrow, I'm only not doing the Izzo thing because of your Lions, but tomorrow, Rico's going to play the role of Tom's wartime consigliere. I'm giving Rico 2 choices. It's choose your own adventure, Izzo edition. You do this or you do that. But that is all.
No one gets hurt, right? There's no fishing boats out on the lake. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. No Mo Green.
Maybe a chair to a spinal column.
Tom, would you like to get a shave and a haircut?
I think the chair I broke would outperform Matty Sissoko, so that might work.
There's a lot of orange cones being taken off the freeway.
Kevin from Flint says, everybody needs to relax. Everybody said at the beginning of the season, we should be competing for the division title.
I didn't.
We are doing that. We are 2 drafts away to be competing for a Super Bowl.
2 drafts away?
Relax.
What is this, 1976?
Apparently so.
Okay, you know what? You're done. I'm moving on. I'm not dignifying that text. Let's go to Jim, 97.1. Jimmy.
Yo, Mike.
Hello.
Hey there. Yeah, I just got to say, on a tangent, you brought up the Pistons streak that they're on, and I'm going to say which one's going to be beat first is Dan Campbell, as far as I know, in 13 games has not won a challenge yet, and the Pistons haven't won a game yet. Who's going to win first?
Dan Campbell's challenge, that was awful. You know what, Jim? Let's bring it up because we haven't brought it up yet. He rushed to judgment there. It was a bad challenge in the second half road divisional playoff game where you can't put a timeout at risk unless you are certain. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. I don't even know if there was enough time for the people upstairs to wire down to him. He just went rage mode and threw the damn thing. This
is where your assistants have to say, nope, I know it looks bad. Trust us on this.
I agree. It's not all on DC, but and the Bears did rush up.
Yeah, but I mean, Jim, listen, that's not a point in the game. I'm not challenging that play. It's not clear either. And obvious. And you're right. He's had a terrible record challenging plays. Terrible. You're right to criticize it. If we're going to salute coaches who win them, you got to rip coaches who don't. And consistently, he's bad at it. No problem with the phone call. And whose streak will be broken first? The Pistons will win a game.
They got a better opportunity.
Well, they got 80 chances. I mean, a coach might challenge 5 or 6 plays in a year.
Yeah, but Campbell only has, 4 or 5 more weeks. Are the Pistons going to win a game?
It's the NBA. Maybe the Pacers show up drunken high tonight after the in-season tournament. I don't know.
Right, but for a month and a half, they haven't won. That it's the NBA kind of goes out the window.
Okay, I got one more question for you guys.
Sure.
Was it Brad Holmes who drafted J-Mo? And I don't mean
Brad Holmes?
anything bad about J-Mo, but he can't catch the damn ball. Or, excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. That's not a potty word. Damn is just fine. Damn. Just fine. The point I'm making is J-Mo didn't catch it. He had 0 catches for 0 yards yesterday. You don't even get to talk about a guy's hands.
Yeah, well, because if you throw it to him, he's going to drop it anyway. I mean, he does make some big plays. He's had some touchdowns, but the guy can't catch. Go look at all his Alabama. I went back and I looked on YouTube, saw all his highlights. Like every time he's open by like 10 yards and he can turn around and catch it with his body. I've never seen the guy high point the ball.
Dan Campbell acknowledged when you drafted him that, quote, he would never be one of these great hands catcher guys. I believe that was his quote. Jim, bottom line is either the quarterback's got to change or you got to get him out of town because it's not going to work with him and Goff. We're too deep into this. He's never caught more than 2 balls in a game. We're in the home stretch of his second year in the league, and they desperately need him. Safeties are creeping up to the line of scrimmage to play you. They know Goff isn't going to go over the top. They don't fear J-Mo.
Well, heck, I know what a key 4th down play. They went to DPJ before they went to J-Mo yesterday.
Okay, that's slanderous.
It's fact. Happened.
I know.
Shout out Cass Tech.
Shout out not being able to measure a football
field.
We're
not doing this every single time Cass Tech comes up. No, we're not.
Shout out
We're not doing it.
4 foot tall corners.
We can do that.
Okay. Shout out Boubacar.
We could do that too.
Okay. Dior Mathis? Who was the other one? Was it
Wait, I know what Jordan Lewis and Cowboy.
Yes.
In the league, yes.
Yeah. He'll get a pension.
Yeah, is it wrong that I forgot he still plays for the
listen,
Cowboys?
he'll get a pension.
Yes, good for him.
Hey,
yeah.
come on.
JD.
Eventually come back home and coach the team at Cass Tech.
On a 94-yard
I'm not kicking you out,
field.
by the way, Coach, right now. I'm not, but we got to win some states again.
Oh.
He had a bad year, David.
Damn.
It's like Tomlin. Win again.
Jesus. The man had a bad year. They lost in the semifinal?
I'm about to get a text. I'm sorry about
Let's
that.
go to-
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Oh, my bad.
They lost in the state semifinal.
Jeez.
I would like to apologize.
Let's go to John, 97.1. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, how's it going, you guys? First time caller.
What's up, man?
Yeah, so part of me, because Mike, I've heard you say this even when Stafford used to be there, how it seemed like the media would always carry Stafford's water.
Yeah.
Every time, oh, he had a 340-yard game, or, well, how come people aren't doing that? I mean, well, they're doing that with Campbell, it seems like, because Brandon Staley gets crucified with the Chargers for being a defensive coach whose defense stinks. And Dan Campbell's basically doing the same thing with Detroit.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it's happening now. No, it's happening because he's fun and he's quotable, and I'd have a beer with him.
Right.
I'm with you. John, this team is falling apart a little bit. It's on him to run a better operation. It's the penalties. It's the turnovers, missed extra points. My quarterback's falling apart. You are the CEO of the operation. And look, you want to be the riverboat gambler, we got to have a conversation about some of the choices. I mean, the fake punt on Thanksgiving Day. Whatever the hell that was on 4th and plus, down 12 with 12 and a half to go. John, I'm with you, but I can't control it. I'm one person.
Right. I wanted to make 2 more quick points.
Go ahead.
Just because so if you really think about it, these 2 things really bother me because Rico brought up the point that ever since the Baltimore game, which that was a complete beating that they took. But the red flag for me was the Charger game because they came off a bye week with 2 weeks of rest, and the Chargers had basically 6 days of rest coming off that Cowboy game that they lost. And they allowed the Chargers to basically have their best offensive game of the year. And Justin Herbert, who's been mediocre all year, so that to me was where I kind of had the big antennas up where I was like, because that's a game where coming off of 2 weeks of rest, you're facing a tired team and a bad team. They should have just steamrolled that team.
John, it's a bad defense. They don't have depth. They're down 4 starters. I mean, I pick a defense.
And that was
go to Rico's team. Take their most important defensive player, Nick Bosa. Take Lenoris Boboris Sr., Jr., the third, whatever his name is, take him, take Fred Warner, they won't look the same. John, we have to accept it's not this nameless, faceless group. They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was supposed to play a major role. They lost Aleem McNeil. They lost James Houston. What? They lost their number one corner in Mosley. John, they're not a good defense. I know this. The offense has to carry them.
Yep. And then finally, I just want to end it with just I always think of the imagine if theory. And I always think, like, if you as a fan have to tell yourself, like, imagine if Jared Goff is in third and long, because they're not running against San Francisco or Dallas in the playoffs if they get that far. And I always say, like, can you just imagine that offense?
They can't beat
Jared
those
Goff,
things.
as bad as he's playing now, in constant third and longs against those defenses.
No, they can't beat them. They can't beat the Niners. They're not going to beat the Eagles. They're not going to beat the Cowboys. The goal right now is to win this division and put a banner up and win a playoff game so everybody here gets the joy and we get rid of the ridiculous stat that they haven't won one in 30 years and they've only done it once since 57. But if you think the goal is anything other than that currently, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. They're not beating those teams. Now, football's a weird game.
No, it is.
With an oblong ball, okay?
And 3 weeks ago, Lions fans thought that they could beat those teams. They thought that they could go toe-to-toe with everybody in the NFC.
What is Denoris Lenoris' name? What is his name? I always get it wrong, the kid for Frisco. He's actually playing good ball this year.
I'm not answering that.
No, he's the corner, number 2.
I feel like there's a chair waiting for me.
There's not. What's his name?
I feel like there's a chair because you're going to be like, don't care.
Gregoris Bedorius. What is it?
I'm not doing this.
His name is something out of a Key and Peele sketch.
Diomenor Lenore.
Thank you. He's actually playing really well. He was
Yes,
a
he
punchline last year. He's actually playing good ball.
I just figured, he's like, what's his name? Don't care. And then you would go to break.
I think, honestly, you're a little...
Because you asked me, hey, what time's that MSU game? Yeah, I don't care. You did it better in the pre-show meeting.
Got
Hey, what's
PTSD
this?
or
I
something.
don't care.
You're kind of right.
Okay.